is in. We brought the receipts, baby. Lay back, tell the truth. We do this dirty, but we do it safe. Counselors in the house, let's go. Talk it out and act like grown-ups. Secrets in a circle, lips sealed tight. If you need a little healing with a little heat, pull up a chair, keep your boots on. This is Counselors After Dark.
Hey guys, you're here with Betty.
It's Paula.
Dottie here.
Hey, it's Daisy.
It's your girl Dolores.
And welcome to Counselors After Dark.
So the drink of the day is Riesling. We are all having a little glass tonight, and I'm very excited. It's going to be a fun podcast. We have great vibes in the air. Everyone take your glasses. Cheers.
Cheers.
So let's get into it.
Our topic today, interview skills. Do you have what it takes to interview for your favorite school counseling position? Let's find out.
All right. So our post for the day. I have an interview next week for a school counselor position. What are some interview questions I can expect? And does anyone have any tips? I'm confident in my ability to do the job, but I'm not great at interviewing. Let's talk.
God, I remember bombing an interview. I got told by a fellow school counselor that apparently I somehow said something wrong about the school. And do I remember what I said? Apparently it came out of me. So whatever you do, guys, don't say something negative about the school you're trying to interview for. Don't be like this person / me.
Do your research.
Yes.
What could you possibly say, though, that was negative towards the school you're applying for?
Good question. I wish I remembered. It was such a long time ago because I'm old. So sorry, I can't remember that.
Oh, God, I do remember being on interview committee where someone made a negative comment about the school. I don't remember what it was, but I remember just looking around and being like, well, that's uncomfy. So my advice would be do your research on whatever school you are applying to, but maybe stay positive.
Definitely. Don't bash either the previous district that you were in or the current district that you are applying to, because that's just negative and no one wants to hire someone as a school counselor if you're going to be negative talking about their district that they have pride in or a previous district. They don't want you talking bad about that on these interview committees that we've been a part of.
Yeah, I think my issue was that I may have had a little bit of verbal diarrhea. So my suggestion for anyone interviewing, especially when you have a little bit of anxiety, you need to calm your nerves, is take a deep breath. Try not to have that verbal diarrhea. Think a little bit about your answers. It's okay to pause. It's okay to take a deep breath and try to calm yourself down, because we all know that breathing helps us with our mental clarity. So take that deep breath when you're trying to answer.
I would say with interviews as a school counselor and in education, it's not just one interview and you get the job. You usually have interview cycles. You might have your first interview where you're doing a screening, just like you with one or two other people, whether it's a counselor and an administrator or two administrators, and they're just pretty much screening you, vetting you for 10 minutes, asking you who you are, a couple of different scenarios. And then if you get past that first round, your second round might be with an entire committee of people, parents, students sometimes, counselors, teachers. And then your third interview might be, I remember when I first started as a school counselor, my third interview was a lesson. I had to do an elementary school counseling lesson with a bunch of kids in a classroom and the committee all around the corners. There were 10 people in that interview round. And then my final interview was with the superintendent. And that was just a one-on-one. And I feel like for me, that was the one I was least prepared for because I really didn't know what to expect. And that was kind of like you kind of got the job already, but you still have to just show that you're a competent human being. But the questions that they'll ask you, depending on the school district, some of them are generic, and you can find it right on the American School Counselor Association website. Others might be more specific to the school district. So you always want to research your school district, know how many counselors are there, know what programs that they've done. Think about what things you can bring to the table already.
I think something that I can bring is the fact that I am bilingual. I think that this one kind of makes the interview a tad bit harder just because, let me tell you, if you are going to put down that you're bilingual, I really do hope that you are bilingual.
Or maybe you don't want to say that you're bilingual.
Or maybe don't say that you're bilingual unless it says extra pay, just letting you know right now.
Exactly.
But if you're going to use that you are bilingual, there is a very high possibility that they're going to ask you to pretty much prove that. I've had different interviews where they have spoken to me in Spanish and they've asked me the questions in Spanish. They've had conversations with me in Spanish to kind of see if I can keep a conversation going. And I've also been given the task of writing a letter of recommendation in Spanish. So writing, maybe sometimes you know that maybe you can hold a conversation. I feel like holding a conversation is a little bit easier, but having to write in Spanish and let alone a whole letter of recommendation, I will tell you, is very difficult. And it will be very difficult if you are not really bilingual. So if you're going to use that, be sure that you are prepared for that. Maybe you need to practice a little bit before you go. But I'm telling you right now, if you're putting that on there, they will test you. They will ask for proof.
Also was on an interview committee where someone put down they were bilingual and they were not. And when they were asked to speak in Spanish, they couldn't do it. And again, super uncomfy.
Yeah, that's a little embarrassing.
Please
too.
don't do that.
That is very embarrassing. If you're putting bilingual and they're hiring you for being bilingual, I have to speak every single day. If it's not to a student or if it's a parent, it's always in Spanish. They're using me for that skill. So if I would have lied, I feel like I would have a very, very difficult time doing my job.
Just lie. Don't do it.
Yeah, if you don't see extra pay, just you don't speak Spanish.
I'm totally kidding. Do not lie. They say that.
Someone will find out.
I think when I think back in my experiences interviewing, my first interview was a huge committee. It was kind of like what Dolores was saying, how it was off the bat, 10 to 15 people in a room. I was fresh out of grad school. I'm like, what? I think it was honestly like a courtesy.
That
like
was your first interview?
Yes.
A group interview?
It was a
That's
group interview. And till this day, I think it was for practice. I don't think it was like you're a serious candidate, which I honestly am grateful for because I learned a lot in that interview. But it was so intimidating, and something that helped with my following interviews was it's okay not to answer a question right away. And it's okay to pause and even verbally say, okay, let me just think about that. I think for me, I'm always like, I need a response. I have to have an answer right away because then I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm talking about. But honestly, just taking a minute and just to really process the question. And also, if you don't understand the question, make sure you ask, can you just say it again? Can you explain a different way? Ask for clarification because that was very, very helpful. I was also told to bring a notebook and I did use it. I jotted down some notes while the interviewers were speaking. So that was very helpful just for me. And it looks like you care and you're doing something. And then my last tip, which was also very helpful, was always ask a question. You don't need to have many, but asking the either committee or the person, but always having at least one question in your back pocket, I felt like makes you stand out. So I think that was very beneficial to me because that first interview, let me tell you, I walked out of there and I was horrified. I remember they also asked me the general, like, tell me about yourself.
I hate that.
I hate it.
I don't know myself.
I don't. I wish we had ChatGPT because at this point, ChatGPT like knows who I am. So I wish I could ask it, tell me about myself because I don't know.
You have anxiety.
And you have word vomit. But they had asked me, tell me about yourself question. And I'm stupid and I didn't know it was a tell me about yourself question. So I proceeded to not think and just speak and say, well, I like to volunteer at beaches and I like to do beach cleanups and I play volleyball on the weekends. And no, my hands are sweating right now. It's not the Riesling. It's the embarrassment. It's PTSD from that interview. And I remember leaving that interview. By the way, last thing, and then I'll let somebody else speak. I was wearing 4-inch black heels. I had blisters. I was wobbling out of there with embarrassment. Worst interview of my life. And then I had a really great interview my next time around, and that's why I'm here.
Yay! Don't do what Paula did first time around. That's wild.
I have a lot of questions.
I love long walks on the beach.
I want to describe the way Dolores looks as she heard that story because her hands were on her face in pure horror as she was listening to Paula say that.
She's the one that will be in the interview committee and be like, get out.
I just walk out the door.
I love that too. She's just why I can't be in committees.
I'm on interview committees, and we had a rule in the committee. If you didn't like that person, you would take your pen and just put it down. Once everyone had their pens down, pencils down, that means wrap it up. Don't ask any more questions, nothing. We wrapped it up. We didn't like them. My pen would have been down for you immediately. If you start talking about long walks on the beach, that's crazy.
Wow, you would have missed out.
I would have.
You know what?
It's
It needed
nerves.
to happen. I needed to be a hot mess express because then for my next interview, I felt like I just let go.
Yeah.
I prepared. I studied. My partner, he was so good to me. And he was like, it's okay. So tell me about yourself. Immediate tears. I'm like, I'm traumatized.
The first question is usually in every interview is tell me about yourself.
Yes.
And that question is really no more than 2 minutes. Talk about your experience. Talk about if you volunteer, not at the beach, but if you volunteer at a local community center with students, anything that you are doing that is educational or that is helping others. If you volunteer at the local fire department or anything that you are doing that is exceptional. If not, talk about how you just finished your graduate program and how you are looking to expand and learn and things like that. Don't go in depth about if you just got married, if you want to have kids, if you like playing video games. Don't say any of that because nobody cares. You need to just talk about who you are as an individual. You can say you're kind-hearted. You can say you're passionate. Those are key words that schools are looking to hire. They don't care about your whole life story. They don't want it. They just want to know who you are briefly because they have your resume. They have your 1-page, 2-page employment history. Did they read it all? No, they didn't because they had 5 minutes to look through it. They just want you to give the highlights. So talk about your resume just a little bit and move on.
Can we get back to the 4-inch heels, please? Can I ask the group here who would have worn 4-inch heels to the interview?
Back in the day, yes. What was everyone's outfit? Go. A suit with heels.
Yeah, same with heels. Yeah.
All I was missing was a tie.
I was in a suit, dress pants, jacket, button down or blouse, and either short heels or my little Easy Spirits. I love a little Easy Spirit. I took my mama's shoes. I don't care. I think my mom's Easy Spirits have got me through every interview I can think of because forget my stilettos, forget all that. No. Easy peasy, thick block heel. I want to make sure I'm not tripping. Who knows how far I have to walk to get from the parking lot to the entrance of the building if they're making me walk from one section to the other. So I'm thinking about all of that and I'm thinking about comfort.
I think maybe I'm just traumatized with heels too, because trust me, I've paid my dues. Being this age, trying on heels at all walks of life, I am done with heels.
Oh my God, you've never worn heels.
No, I wear heels. I like to wear more boots type of heels, like thicker heels,
but like
wedges even. Yeah.
Okay.
But my outfit would definitely be like Dolores's outfit when interviewing. But I remember being traumatized with heels one day, and I wasn't interviewing at this time, but walking with those heels caused me to have bloody toes, and I will not have those again. Trust me. So I will not be wearing heels anytime soon, especially not to an interview.
Just make sure that you look professional. I mean, if you want to wear heels or not, it's fine, but just look professional. I've seen some people walk into interviews and I don't know if they're just going for a coffee with their friends or they're coming to interview.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
You look the part. I feel like the people that are interviewing you, maybe you're like the newer generation and maybe it's not the same anymore and that's not what the interview look is anymore. But who is interviewing you? Probably the older folk that know that exactly, right?
Like us.
Who still believe that you have to look professional where you're coming in for an interview, right? And I think something else that I would like to say is I understand that this is a very professional setting and you want to show them that you're this fantastic person, you're so smart, you know all these things. But at the same time, you're new to, let's say, the school district, you're new to this job, you're new to the profession. If you're a brand new counselor, they know that you're brand new. You don't have to know everything. Be honest. Don't try to come up with some weird answer that you're just trying to sound smart. Right? You want to be honest with yourself. You want to be honest with them. Maybe you just don't know it. And sometimes it's better to just be like, I think one time in my worst interview ever, I'm pretty sure I said, can I get back to you on that?
Can I give you a call later?
You know, it's so funny. I was preparing for interviews and somebody gave that advice. They said, if you don't know something, just say, can I get back to you later? And I actually tried it. And then they asked me another question. And because I was going crazy because of the whole situation that I blanked out in all of my knowledge, they asked me a second question. And again, I did not know the answer. And I was like, can I get back to you? I, in fact, did not get back to them later. But I did the job. So I must have done something right.
That's awesome.
At least I was honest. I could have come up with some random roundabout answer that they're going to read right through it. They know. They're not stupid. They're going to know, okay, she doesn't know it. And she decided to just say a bunch of stuff and go around it, beat around the bush. At this point, I think where I am in my career, I feel like if I would go back to interviewing just for funsies, I would come with so many questions. How many counselors? What are their side jobs? What do they have to do? What are the responsibilities? I feel like maybe doing a lot of research. And I think the people that commented on the post that you read, Dottie, I think that's a really good start. You want to talk to people that are already in it and they know the things that you should be asking. Because if somebody came up to me and said, what do you think I should be asking in an interview? I'd be like, listen, write this down. I got bullets for you. Because there's so many things that I wish I could ask. If I go back now, I remember they would say, oh, do you have any questions for us? I'd be like, no, this is great. Thank you so much. And I'll be like out of there because I was just so scared and I just wanted to get out of that situation. But I wish I could go back and just pull out my notebook and be like, matter of fact, I have 5. And I'm just like, because you want to know what you're getting yourself into. And I think I said this to you, Paula, once. Yes, you are trying to find a job and you want to seem like a good fit for them. But don't forget that you're also looking for yourself. Is this school a good fit for you? Is this a place that's good for you? It's going to work with you and you're going to be happy there, or at least it's a good start. It's whatever you're looking for at the time. Right. I also think that we forget that when we're in the process because we just, especially as first year counselors, we really just want to get the job. We need somewhere. We need to land somewhere. But then we forget that this is where we're going to be every single day for hours. So why can't we also find out if this place is a good fit for us?
I would say that Betty is right in what she's saying, but I also don't agree with everything only because I think Betty is right because she has years in. So if she's looking to go somewhere else, she is going to interview that school like they're on trial, which I understand and I completely agree with. But when you are in your first year, admin, people on the committee, this is their interview for you. It's not your interview for them. Per interview, honestly, you shouldn't have more than 2 questions.
Okay, I was joking about the 5. I'm not going to ask 5 questions.
I even think 2
some
was a
people
lot.
would.
I asked 1.
Honestly,
I had
yeah.
1.
One, no more
One
than 2.
really good question.
100%.
What would be your question? You get a chance to ask one question in this job. What would you ask?
What are your expectations? What are you looking for in a counselor that's starting,
That's a great
that you're looking to
question.
hire?
I love that one.
What's your school culture like? Because certain things you can find online, but you can't actually experience that culture unless you're talking to students, talking to staff members. You can only feel it based on what the website is like or what you've heard from other people. But actually getting from the interview committee or the interviewers, what is the school's actual culture?
I feel like asking that question also makes it seem like that person is more assertive compared to others being interviewed. Sitting in a few committees, I feel like I didn't really favor the candidate who interviewed if they didn't ask that question. I would give that piece of advice. If you are asked, if you have any questions toward the end of the interview, I would say always have a question ready. I love the one that Dottie just gave. What are the expectations you have of the school counselor in this role? That's always a great one to ask. I think one thing we left out was eye contact, keeping good eye contact with everyone at the interview committee, maybe even using names of anyone who is there. Unlike whatever Paula just said about her first interview being a group interview, I think for me, my experience has been that I've always had that screener interview and always knowing, let's say if you're in the high school level, knowing what graduation rates are. That's always been a question that I've been asked from the get-go. So you may be asked questions that are based off of the position that you're being hired for. So getting ready for that and doing your research is really important.
And just to go back to what Betty said, if you're a new counselor, I feel like you don't need to know every question. It's okay to say that you don't know, but make sure that you let everybody in the interview committee know that if you don't know something in the job, you're willing to find the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's super important to know. Also, make sure you bring water with you.
Great.
Because again, I was in an interview committee where someone did not bring water and there was no water that was provided to this person. And it was, I'm just going to say it again, really uncomfy. Also, with your resume, make sure you proofread every single thing because I feel like that's an automatic deny. If someone on the interview committee is looking at your resume and there are typos or something's not right, that's not good. Like proofread it, have 80 million people proofread it if that's what it takes. And also don't make it too long.
Yeah. And don't lie on your resume. I think we said that before, right?
Don't put a
lie.
picture. Nobody needs to see what you look like.
Yes. Even though apparently that's a new thing. People are adding pictures to their resume.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be more international where that's accepted, where you can put one professional photo. In the US, no picture. I don't care where you work. Don't do it.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
It
Why
also
do you
like
have that?
I don't, yeah, no.
I think that creates bias.
Me
to be
too.
honest.
Yeah.
Your resume should not be more than 2 pages. And if you just got out of grad school, that sucker needs to be 1 page. Don't play.
Yep.
Cut out stuff. Don't put stuff from high school. Don't put stuff from your bachelor's program. If so, it needs to be really focused and tied into being a school counselor helping.
Yeah.
Certain things matter, certain things don't matter. Your college program, the advisors, there's programs that will help to proofread and edit your resume. Use those free resources. Or there's also some consultation businesses where they can help you with your resume for those professional settings. I remember years ago, one of my colleagues was a social worker at the time. She had hired someone to create her resume and her cover letter. $500 she spent on her resume and cover letter. When I tell you I knew the homegirl, I said, send me that.
GPT can do that for free.
ChatGPT wasn't around a decade ago at the time, or, you know.
But that's so nice of you because they do charge and people will pay.
Yeah.
Just
People will
because
pay.
They trust that it'll be perfect.
Yeah. Dolores has a business and she charges a lot of money for her resume writing and cover letter writing as well. Okay.
I would trust
As
you.
you should.
Yeah,
Thank you very
as you
much.
should.
Yes. 'Cause you're
Definitely
supposed
do
to
your
work it.
research. I do want to end on that you do need to do your research because I think that Daisy mentioned it before. She mentioned that you will interview depending on the level. Make sure that you are doing the research for that level because the questions that you get for a high school position will be very different from the questions that you're getting at an elementary school position. And think about what your skills are. What are you bringing to the table? Because when they start asking you questions about what you can bring to the table, you have to be ready. You can't just all of a sudden start thinking, okay, wait, what am I good at mid-interview? You want to know everything that you are good at and all of the skills that you are bringing, all of the resources that you already have, and show them that you are worth their time and the money that they will invest in you and that you are worth it. And that's pretty much all I got.
The last thing that I have to say is that a lot of questions on the interviews are also very scenario based. Like a kid is screaming in the hallway. They call the counselor. What do you do? So you want to think about how you're going to respond, how you're going to follow up, who you're going to communicate with. A lot of it is about collaboration, but a lot of questions for school counselors are very scenario based.
And lastly, as you're answering those interview questions, think about your own experiences, because a very valuable piece of advice I received was think about your internship, think about your practicum, think about all your interactions with the students you have worked with and use those in your interview. Be very specific. If you have a topic on bullying and you know you've already discussed that with a student during your internship program, then you bring it up that you have dealt with that before. So speak on your own experiences. Please don't lie.
All right. What's the bottom line for today? Do your research, be confident, dress the part, know your worth, and stay positive. You got this.
And don't forget to hit the follow button so you don't miss any of our counselor confessions.
Cheers.
This is Counselors After Dark.